everybody, and welcome back to Now Showing with John
and Cam.
In today's episode is another one of our fan-inspired episodes. This one comes from Fear Gaming, who happens to be my nephew Joey, so a big shout out to him.
What's up, Joe?
We figured we would do this one for you, and you said you should do a comparison of which movie you think is better, the original It or the 2017 remake. So without anything further, like I said, this one goes out to my little nephew. We're going to do our comparison of the two, and we're actually going to get down and dirty in this one and really figure out which one we truly like more. And with more detail on that, Cam's going to break down how we're going to do that.
So we wanted to make this video sort of interactive, something that all of you could do at home as well. So what I want all of you to do is very simple, is make sure you get a piece of paper and a pen or pencil before we get started here. Crayon works too. Because what we're going to do is I'm going to ask a series of questions based off of both films, and some of these questions will be worth 1 point, some will be worth 2 points, or even 3 points. And when the question's asked, if you prefer the 1990 version, the miniseries, or the 2017 reimagining of It, then you're going to put the point of which one you like better in that category. So have two columns, one for the 1990 original It miniseries and one for the 2017 reimagining of It. And at the very end of all of the questions, you at home can tally your scores and find out which version do you like better. And guess what? We're going to be doing the same thing along the way, and at the end of the video, we'll discover which one do we like better. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to start off with all of the 1 point questions. So every one of these questions, when you have your answer of which one you prefer, you'll mark 1 point in that column. So the first category is we're going to go over the cast. We're going to start with the young versions, the children from the 90s miniseries, and then we'll go in the 2017 version, and then we'll go up to the adults. Before we do that, I'd just like to get your overall thoughts, John. So when we're talking about, not individually, just collectively, the children from the 1990s miniseries to the 2017 version, what's your quick opinion? Not necessarily which one you like better, but what's your quick opinion on each?
I enjoyed the kid acting in both the original and the new one. That's kind of a hard one to really differentiate between the two. They both did a really good job. So hopefully once we kind of break this down a little more, we can really kind of see. Because like I said, both the kids I thought did a really good job. You could really get to know them. You could really feel for them. So I mean, it's a tough one.
Yeah, and there's it's hard. I think it'll be easier when we break it down because there are certain people that stand out.
Yeah. There
are others that don't. But collectively, I totally agree. I think from the 90s miniseries all the way up till today's version, you can make arguments for each, and we'll go through that with each one. I think you can make arguments that the camaraderie seemed at times more there in the 90s miniseries, but the overall just fun and working together and overcoming seemed more relevant in the 2017 version. And then when it comes to the adults, how do you feel just overall? Is it same thing, very close? Do you have any gripes?
I have one huge gripe.
Ooh.
And almost ruins the 90s one for
me.
And that is Adult Bill. I can't stand his acting in it.
John Boy from the Waltons? How dare you?
Yeah, John Boy, I couldn't do it. I mean, Bill in that movie, when the lisp, the ponytail, the glasses, the look, I just couldn't feel for him. It kind of lost me. And like some of the more dramatic scenes in it, whenever he's in a panic or he's trying to be assertive, I just thought fell flat or was borderline comedic to me. And like I said, that's probably, when you look at the 90s, that was probably my biggest gripe, was just him.
That surprised me, yeah.
Not.
Wow.
So
I wonder who he's going to pick when we get to that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the adults...
That's a hard one.
Yeah, I feel the same way. There's different standouts, but we'll get down to the details. Let's start the game. I hope you all have your Pencil and paper ready. Let's begin. So the first one, these are all 1-point questions until I announce they'll be at 2. So for the first one, we're going to start with the children. So young Bill, who do you prefer? Do you prefer the 1990s miniseries played by Jonathan Brandis or Jaden Martell from the 2017 version? Who's your pick on that?
90s.
You going with 90s?
Go with 90s on that one.
Completely agree. I'm going 1990s. Jonathan Brandis, I thought, is one of the biggest standouts from the miniseries. I liked him in a lot of movies he did back then, whether it be Ladybugs. I mean, there's so many. His role, I thought he played Bill almost perfectly from the stutter. His emotion over Georgie's death. I liked Bill in the new version as a kid, but I just felt like even though he's technically the main character in terms of the losers, he's the leader, I feel like they didn't give him enough emotion.
He was a little flat.
The only standout scene is when he's on the outside of Nebolt and he makes the speech to them to go in, and they're like, he didn't even stutter. Like, I felt like that was the one time we got to see him. But I don't really even think it's close. Jonathan Brandis for me as Bill in the 1990s miniseries. So that's where we're putting our first one here. Oh. I just knocked over Pennywise. We said right before this started, I said, let's see who knocks over first. That was me. Okay, second one, we're going to go Young Beverly. Where are you going? 1990s miniseries or the remake?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I'm going to go 90s again.
90s?
Yeah, I'm going 90s again.
I really fought, I'm fighting in my mind back and forth between these two. But I think in the end, I have to go with the 2017 version just because I feel like they gave her a lot more to do. They made her a little bit more empowering than they did in the original miniseries. I felt like they did a really good job with Beverly. Not that they didn't do a good version in the 90s because Emily Perkins, she did a great job. For those of you who watched Supernatural with us, she was in Supernatural too, if you remember, John. She's the one that's the super fan that's crazed with them.
That's right.
That's her. That's young Bev. So I forget her name off the top of my head.
Sam.
Yeah, in the episode. But yeah, I'm gonna go 2017 on that one.
All right.
Okay, young Richie. We got Seth Green in the 1990s version. We got Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things in 2017. Who you going?
I'm going 2017.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Seth Green is an awesome actor. I like Seth Green a lot. I wish we could do ties in this, but we decided we're not going to allow ties. I gotta go Finn Wolfhard too, just because the comedy, the lines they gave him, they actually allowed him to be trash mouth because, and maybe that's not a fair comparison because the new one was rated R. But
and the other one was a TV
made for TV movie, So, but I gotta agree. I'm going Richie from 2017, Finn Wolfhard. All right, young Eddie. Who we going with? For me, this is a no-brainer. I'm going 2017. Young Eddie in the 1990s. He was one of the characters I really didn't connect with. I liked him, but I feel like Jack Dylan Grazer, who played Eddie in the 2017 version, knocked it out of the park. He became one of my favorites in the new version when I was never really an Eddie fan. Just like his lines, his one-liners, his arguing with Richie, his what's a gazebo? Gets a gazebo. I mean, he knocks it out of the park. So for me, I'm going 2017.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that one.
All right, one of my all-time favorite characters. Ben. Young Ben. Who you going with here?
90s.
Going with 90s?
I don't even have to think about that.
Really?
Yeah, 90s.
This is tough. You know what? I disagree. I really liked the 90s version of Ben a lot. And the actor who played him, actually, for those of you who didn't catch it, he plays a cameo in It Chapter 2, so look out for him in the first scene. I won't say exactly who he is, but in the first time you see the adult version of Ben, you'll see him in that. But I gotta go 2017. I really did like the little kid that played him. I thought he did a really good job.
Like I said, it's a tough one. You can almost make an argument for either way, but...
All right, young Mike.
2017's. Yeah. It's another, but...
See, I'm actually gonna go with 1990s on this, and here's why. In the novel, as we all know, Mike is the historian. And they stayed true to that in the 90s miniseries. Mike was the new kid in school. He developed all, he told them about the history of Derry. And I really liked that because it was true to the novel. I felt like young Mike in the new one didn't have much of a role to play because he wasn't the historian. So he was kind of just an outsider and there wasn't much more. So I'm going to go with young Mike, the two from 1990 in that one. I'm going to give a point there. All right, young Stan. I'm going 2017 on this.
I was kind of leaning there too.
Yeah, I think the kid he did a good job. Wyatt Olaf is his name. I think he did a good job in the 2017 version. Young Stan was fine in the 90s miniseries, but...
Yeah.
Okay, so now we are going to go into the adult versions, okay? So adult Bill. I don't even have to ask you this one.
Yeah.
Because you already demonstrated your anger, but I'm going to agree
That's
with you.
2017.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't figure that out.
I didn't hate Richard Thomas as adult Bill in the 90s miniseries like he did. I didn't mind the ponytail and all that. It was fine. But
my fist clenches when I think about it.
We need to have his picture right near him the whole time.
Through the whole video.
But it's James McAvoy.
Yeah, I mean...
Come on, he did a great job. Yeah. I still don't think they gave him enough to do in It Chapter 2. For those of you who haven't seen it yet, he didn't get to establish that leader role as much as I would like to see, but James McAvoy was awesome. All right, adult Bev. You going Jessica Chastain in the new version, or are you going Annette O'Toole in the original?
I'm going to go original.
Wow. Whoa, that one caught me off guard. I gotta go 2017. I just thought Jessica Chastain did a fantastic job playing Beverly. Annette O'Toole was great as well, but I thought you got to explore more with Jessica Chastain's character. So I gotta go 2017 on this one. Alright, adult Richie. Harry Anderson from the 90s miniseries. Or are we going Bill Hader?
Gotta go Bill Hader.
Gotta go Bill Hader. I mean, to a lot of people, he was the standout role in It Chapter 2. I don't disagree. I don't think he was as epic proportions as a lot of people pointed him out to be, but I still think he did a great job. And there was obviously more depth to the character without getting into any spoiler territory of It Chapter 2. So I'm going to agree as well. Alright, adult Eddie. You going with Dennis Christopher from the 90s or Eddie Ransone, who was also the cop in Sinister. For me, this is not even close. James Ransone, he knocked Eddie out of the park. I agree he was just as much of a standout as Bill Hader was. He was phenomenal in that. Okay, adult Ben. For me, this is the one that's... It's not even close. Nothing against Jay Ryan, who played the new Ben.
He was just up against...
But you're up against John Ritter. In my
legend,
opinion, one of the greatest actors of all time.
Yeah, it's...
John Ritter knocked Ben out of the park in the original miniseries. He's the best part of Part 2 of the 90s miniseries. Yeah, if I could give a dozen points on this one, I would. And nothing against Jay Ryan. He did a good job, but John Ritter killed that role. All right, adult Mike. We going Tim Reed from the 90s miniseries, or are we going Isaiah Mustafa, the Old Spice guy from the new one?
I'm going to go the new one.
Yeah. Tell you what.
I just felt...
He was a standout for me. I didn't expect much from him just because I know him from the Old Spice commercials. I thought he did phenomenal because, of course, in It Chapter 2, they make Mike become the historian because he's the only one that stayed in Derry. So he felt more true to the role, and I thought he did a great job playing Mike, so I'm going to go with the 2017 as well. All right, adult Stan. For me, I'm going with the 90s miniseries just because Richard Major, who played him, who's been in a lot of movies, I thought he got to do at least a little bit more. We saw a little bit more of him in the 2017 version. Andy Bean, who played Stan, it was so quick that I feel like there was enough development, so I got to go with 90s on that one. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go with our next 1-point question, which is going to be another character, Henry Bowers. And this one we're just going to combine both young version and adult version. Are you going 90s or are you going 2017?
I'm going to go 90s, actually.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I really liked like the greaser look.
Yeah, exactly.
Henry Bowers in '90, his one-liners, and then the adult version. I thought even in the miniseries was done a little bit better. The 2017 Henry Bowers as a kid I did really like, but I thought the adult version was heavily rushed and didn't have nearly the impact as the miniseries. So overall, I'm definitely going 2017. Or, excuse me, 1990, same as John's choice there. All right, the next 1 point question is going to be the setting. So, the 1990s miniseries took place as when they were kids in the 1950s, same as the novel, and then, of course, 27 years later, it was heading into the early 80s. And then in the 2017 reimagining, we had the 80s in part 1 up to basically now in part 2. So what setting do you prefer?
I'm gonna go with the 90s TV series, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that one, just because for me it was a lot more true to the novel, because the novel took place in the time period that the 90s miniseries. I really did enjoy the 80s aspect, because of, a lot of the cool 80s, standout things they would show, like New Kids on the Block and all those things. But I do like how it was true to the source material in the original. They were going to the classic movie theaters with the black and white movies playing, things like that. I thought that was a standout for me, so I'm going to go with the miniseries as well. All right, next 1 point question. Which one do you feel is more true to the novel, the 90s miniseries or the 2017 version?
2017, I would have to say, is a little more true to the novel.
I'm actually going to go with 90s, and a lot of that goes right back to the earlier question of the setting, because the setting was all, and because of the forms that Pennywise takes in the miniseries are a little more true to the novel. The 2017 did have some huge things that the miniseries did not have, like the house on Neibolt Street and other things like that. But I still think the 90s miniseries captured the essence of the novel a little bit more than the readaptation did. So I'm going to go with the 90s miniseries on that as well. All right, so now we're going to move into our 2-point questions here. So these are 2-point questions. First one is the score. As we all know, the sound is a huge part of a movie. So, do you think that the 1990s miniseries had the better sound overall, or do you think the 2017 version?
I'm going to go 2017.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I feel that time is what does it. I just feel that with today's audio and everything, it sounded better to me. The opening credits score, to the sound effects, throughout the entire movie, I feel was a little bit better. So
yeah, absolutely. So I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go with the 2017. I think the theme song alone, or that song that keeps playing for the It and the trailers and that, is the standout for me right then and there. And there's a lot of great score and background music that plays throughout the 2017 version of Part 1 and Part 2. So I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to go with that, the score. So remember, that is a 2-point question right there. The next one, we are going to go with another 2-point question, which is the gore and the effects. We combined those two things for this. So gore overall being like the body count, the blood count, and the effects. And I think we should lean a little bit more towards the effects on this one, just for the simple fact that it is sort of unfair.
Yeah, this is an unfair
to
one.
Compare the two.
Because I kind of have to go 2017, and that's, once again, time does it for this one. More recent, more effects, better.
You think, to be fair, should we not count that one? Because really, the 1990s version
it really is a wash. Because the effects in the 1990 for what
so
it was,
limited.
It was TV. It was limited, but for what they had back then, it really wasn't bad.
Correct.
So
you know what? We're gonna wash that one out because I think it is an unfair question to have. So for those of you at home, we're not gonna rate the gore and effects. So if you wrote in a score for that one, erase it, and that'll take us to our final question, which is the biggest question, and this one is going to be worth the most. This one is worth. We're going to make this one the biggest score because it's the biggest question, and this one's going to be worth 5 points because it needs to be. And this one is going to spark the biggest debates too. So flood the comments. I got to ask you, which Pennywise do you prefer? The 1990s miniseries Tim Curry portrayed Pennywise, or 2017's Bill Skarsgård Pennywise? Putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, this is one that I wish I could cheat, but if you were to ask me and I had to answer right away, I'm going to say the 2017. So I'm going to stick to that. Nothing against the 90s Tim Curry. It is incredible. I just like the grittiness. I felt that the 2017 Pennywise was creepier. I felt that the fact that they went a little more of like what a true clown looks like, the color, the costume, the makeup, the hair and everything, it really didn't creep me out. It was just too childish to an extent. Like, it was what I would expect like to have at a birthday party. Now, the 2017, the costume design, the makeup, it was creepy. It was what like I would expect like a killer clown to look like, not your traditional. I mean, granted, most of the killer clowns do take that, and I think that might be why it was more of the like an original take. It was more of a classical look of a clown, that ruffle neck thing, the color, the muted color to it, and I just felt that the way he portrayed Pennywise was a lot better for a creepy factor. It didn't have that like like comedic that you did with the Tim Curry 90s. So yeah, I'm gonna go 2017 by a nose hair though. So
well, if I'm getting put on the spot, which I am, my pick for the winner of between the two Pennywises is going to be Tim Curry, 1990 Pennywise. So right off the bat, there's the debate right there. We have two different answers on this one. So for me, maybe it's a nostalgia thing because I watched the 1990s miniseries as a kid hundreds of times growing up. And Tim Curry, for me, excuse me, scared me more than what I got from Bill Skarsgård. I'm a novel traditionalist too, which, once again, play sides. And the Pennywise we got in the 1990s miniseries is described and looks like what Pennywise is described at in the novel, whereas Bill Skarsgård's creation, or Andy Muschietti's creation, I should say, is something that they imagined for Pennywise. It wasn't anything to do with the novel or the source material. I just find I'm opposite of John here. I find Tim Curry's traditional clown look to be creepier than what I'm seeing with Bill Skarsgård and the more medieval sort of get up. And here's the thing too, Tim Curry, what you see him do on the screen, his voice, his facial expressions, and his movements are all Tim Curry. He did all of that. What you see on screen with Bill Skarsgård is partially Bill Skarsgård. We all know he can make his eyes move in different directions, which is really neat. But almost every time you see him, he's twitching or shaking, which is CGI. His mouth opens to his teeth, which are CGI. Tim Curry had the practical effects. And when he's charging the screen, it's CGI. So there's not a whole lot of Bill Skarsgård performing. It's more computer animated. Everything you see with Tim Curry is Tim Curry. And his voice, his laughter, I got a balloon for ya. I know that was terrible, but that's what I loved about him. And for me, maybe it's the nostalgia, but I'm going to give just by a hair Tim Curry's performance, because I think if you took Tim Curry in that performance, put him in the 2017 version with a big budget, he could have did some crazy things. So I gotta go Tim Curry, and I know let the debate roll in, but that's my pick. I'm giving the 5 points towards Tim Curry on this one. So
Yeah.
All right, so that is all of the questions, guys. So make sure you have your points. We're going to take a little bit of time now. It'll be edited in the video, so you won't have to sit there because we're both bad at math, so it'll probably take us another hour.
Well, actually, mine is already figured out. I did it while he was going over. So I'll go. I'll give you what
ahead.
Mine was while he counts on both hands and both feet. But I'm kind of not too surprised by this. The 2017 is my favorite out of the two. The numbers are a little surprising because honestly, I don't think it's quite as lopsided as this says, but obviously I guess it is. So the 1990 version, it scored a 10. Now the 2017, it beat it out by 6. So 16 to 10 goes to the 2017 version, which I'm honestly a little taken back by. I thought it would be a little bit closer. I kind of knew that the 2017, but I was thinking like 12-11. I thought it was going to be like neck and neck, but...
So I just finished adding mine up. So the 1990 version ended up with a score of 12.
Wow. A little more than me.
The 2017 version ended up with a score of 12.
Wow.
I kid you not.
He's not kidding, guys.
12 and 12.
All right.
But here's the crazy thing that it came out to 12 and 12 for me is because going into this, I really didn't have a favorite. Like, you know how you said the 2017 you felt you like more, but not by much. For me, I basically have always thought that they're tied, which is why this is so crazy to me. I hate to cop it out and leave it at a tie. If we are throwing in gore and effects, I'm going to give it to the 2017 version. But I almost feel like a tie is the right answer that I got because that's how I feel. I prefer Tim Curry a little bit, but there's so much of the other actors and aspects that I prefer the 2017. And I swear to you guys, this wasn't planned. We did our scores right as we went along, so the fact that I came out 12 and 12 is crazy. John had a little bit more of a pull away there with the 2017, but like you said, you kind of thought in your mind beforehand it may, so it is weird that it worked out that way. We're very curious to know at home, what were your scores? Which one do you prefer and why? Put your scores in the comments because we want to see them. Once again, thank you to, what is his YouTube name?
Joey.
Joey.
Fear Gaming.
Fear Gaming, your nephew Joey. Thank you so much for inspiring the video and this fun game. I hope you all enjoyed playing along as well. Please leave a like and subscribe in this video. I know this video is a little conjoined because we were going through and writing scores and that, but hopefully you all enjoyed it along the way. And until we see you next time, thank you for watching Now Showing with
John
and Cam.